Security forces are still searching for the missing schoolgirls who were abducted by Boko Haram Islamist militants on the 14th of April. You'll recall that more than 200 students were seized from their school in Chibok in Nigeria by gunmen. And the militant Islamist group Boko Haram has said it's behind the abduction. At first they were threatening to sell the girls in the market as slaves. Now they seem to have offered to trade some of them for militants held in government jails. Shahzad Nadeem is an imam and a member of the West Berkshire interfaith group and knows some considerable amount about the area. Good morning, Shahzad.
Hey, good morning, Charles. How are you doing?
Great, but really troubled by this awful story from Nigeria. What is going on over there? Boko Haram, who are they and what are they all about?
Right, so Boko Haram was formed in 2002 by Muhammad Yusuf, and they were quite active in Cameroon, Chad, and Nigeria as well. And they're like most of the northeastern parts where there is a mix of Christian and Muslim communities in Borno, Kaduna, Kano. I've traveled these areas and I've talked to the masses around those areas, really. So Boko is coming out of that underprivileged class. It's coming out of poverty, injustice in the society, the state oppression in some instances. It is also fueled by the extreme interpretation of the Islamic religion, the fundamentalist and extremist groups around the world, really. And I think this is a part of that international phenomenon that is growing day by day and influencing itself on the impoverished communities of the world.
Do they enjoy any popular support in the area?
It looks like that they are, because the problem of Nigeria is that, I mean, it's really, really poor. You cannot really believe. When my car entered Kaduna, and I was terrified. There were like 50, 60 odd people running after my car, and I was not sure what's actually happening. And then found out that they just wanted to sell bits and pieces, really, to me. So people are selling their bodies. People are selling their children over there, really.
So so we're talking an extremely poor area.
Yeah, it's a poverty difficult to see elsewhere in the world.
And so do they feel that Boko Haram have something to offer them?
Boko Haram has recruited 12-year-old children, really, fighting alongside them. So Boko Haram is, I mean, this kind of extremist philosophy, not just Nigeria, I'm telling you, and I do travel across the world, this philosophy is gaining ground around the world, in Syria, in Afghanistan, in parts of Southeast Asia, you just name it, in Maghreb, this North Africa. This philosophy is gaining grounds, and if Muslims themselves really don't wake up to this call, this is going to fall in our own homes at some stage.
So a spreading danger. How do they believe that kidnapping 200 schoolgirls is going to help their cause? Is it simply a financial transaction thereafter?
It's not that. Actually, it's an international, as I said earlier, it's an international extremist interpretation of the religion, which is very unfortunately, which is very unfortunately supported by the West when they have their political motives behind those. Very well accepted and confessed by Hillary Clinton in one of her Senate speeches that we supported this extremist philosophy to get political gains in Afghanistan, to beat Russia. This extremist philosophy is supported in Syria for the political gains. This extremist philosophy is supported in different parts of the world where we expect some political gains out of it, and rejected in other parts of the world where we don't expect some political gains. I think this is a wake-up call, and this is a wake-up time for West as well, to stand shoulder to shoulder with the majority of peace-loving Muslims in condemning this philosophy and standing aside and supporting the peaceful voices of Islam, so that we could overcome these extremist philosophies and the resulting fallout of those extremist philosophies.
What is the way forward in terms of these girls now, what's the best way to get them back? Is there going to be negotiation with Boko Haram? Is it the sort of group one can negotiate with?
They are a very well embedded group in public. They are not just very completely, although this case will be very isolated, they are in jungles. They need a lot of logistic support. Government really needs a lot of logistic support from all the military and paramilitary forces. These kind of phenomenon, ultimately you talk about Sri Lanka, what happened with Tamil Tigers. It went on for half a century, and there is no solution other than fighting with them. That's the ultimate goal. You cannot win over them philosophically. You have to go and fight with them. Nigerian government has to pull up its socks really, and get its act right and go after these guys with the international help to both terminate them on the military level as well as on the philosophical level, work on the grassroots level, and fix the problems in the society to get long-term gains.
Well, we heard that African leaders have declared war on Boko Haram. For the prospects for these girls, that sounds quite gloomy. Do you hold out hope that they will be safely returned?
Oh yeah, they will. I mean, obviously, as I said, that they have to be beaten up very badly. They have to be militarily exposed. They have to be attacked. They have to be surrounded from all around. And they wouldn't have anywhere to go, really. These are coward jackals that have to be brought to justice, that have to be apprehended, and they have to be brought to justice for what they have been doing. They have killed 10,000 people out there in Nigeria, and they have displaced 100,000 people. The same Takfiri group is active around the borders of Afghanistan and Pakistan. They have killed 49,000 people out there, really. And this is a wake-up call for the whole world that we need to step forward and support these countries in helping them to get out of the situations.
I understand that, but for these girls that have been kidnapped, is there realistically hope that they are going to be safely returned to their families?
I am very hopeful. I think this is going to be a mix of carrot and stick. They'll have to surround. They have to put themselves. The problem is when the people know that the state is out of control, they make use of it. You have to show and prove on the ground that you are in control, and that's where, from the position of authority, you go and negotiate with these terrorists. That's how things happen, and I'm very hopeful that things would turn out better for these girls, really.
Let us hope so. Thank you for joining me this morning. Shahzad Nadeem, an imam and member of the West Berkshire Interfaith Group, and with experience of that troubled area of the world.